cohesive devices. Done? Alright. Okay. When it comes to accuracy, I know it is difficult to maintain grammatical accuracy, right? Because we are not native speakers of English language. Susah kan nak guna grammar yang betul, right? But try your level best to use accurate sentence, grammatical structures throughout the assessment. Alright, avoid making simple grammatical errors. For example here, right? You need to work on using the correct subject-verb agreement. Example, a person needs and not need enough rest. Why is that? Why is it? Oh dear. Why is it? Why do you have to use need instead of, why do you have to use needs instead of need? Okay, good. Well done. Singular subject. Oh, this thing is killing me. Alright, it is a singular subject. A person here is singular subject. So you need to add S to the verb. Okay, good. You know that. Okay, and then you also try to use correct tenses throughout the assessment. For example here, people should eat healthy food is the correct structure. Instead of people should eat healthy food. Why is that? Yeah. Which one is correct? Should eat or should eat? Why? Okay, because the verb here is followed, it comes after model. Models are words like should. What else? Could, would, can. Alright, so after a model, it should be the base form of verb. No S, no ing, no past tense. Am I clear? Okay, so these are a few examples of correct grammatical structures. Okay, so there are a few examples. Okay, so focus on your accuracy. Next, when it comes to grammar, try to use a combination of complex sentences, compound sentences, and also simple sentences. If you are not sure what are complex sentences and compound sentences, maybe you can go back later on and ask your teacher because I don't have much time to explain about it. Alright, so can you have a look at the extract that I have prepared? They have the same idea, but which one is better? A or B? Or why? Alright, good. You say you mentioned the word, but we are not talking about cohesive devices yet. Look at the structure. Which one looks better? A, definitely A, because the one in green are all complex sentences. Okay, the sentences in blue are compound sentences and the one in red are simple sentences. So extract B, I'm not saying this is wrong. Okay, it is correct, but if you want to get higher marks, which one is better, right? A. Because B here uses more what sentences? Simple sentences. Well done. Okay, so try to use a variety of sentences. Next, the third one, when it comes to grammar, I believe your teacher has mentioned this a million times, right? Use cohesive devices, and I'm going to say the same thing. Make sure to use cohesive devices throughout the assessment. If possible, incorporate cohesive devices in part 1 as well. Okay, use in part 1, part 2, and also part 3. Okay, some of the examples you can read there, right? Furthermore, in addition, apart from that, and so on. So grammar, when it comes to grammar, what are the 3 important aspects you need to work on? Accuracy. Okay, try to use a variety of sentence structure. And number 3, cohesive devices. Okay, now let's look at vocabulary. For vocabulary, you need to focus on 2 aspects, which are the range. Kepelbagaian kosakata, the range. Alright, and number 2, make sure the words that you use are appropriate. Kepelbagaian dan kesesuaian kosakata. That is what we will be assessing when we listen to your speaking response. Done? Okay, now let's look at range. So, have a look at these 2 sentences. Which one sounds better? The below one, the second one, right? Why? Alright, okay. Appropriate, okay. No, I'm talking about the range now. Okay, this one, I'm not saying the top one is wrong. Okay, it is good. Eating healthy food is important because it helps our body stay strong and prevent sickness. It is good. But look at the word and phrases used in the second sentence here. Eating healthy food, it is a good vocab, but it is basic. So replace it with maintaining a nutritious and well-balanced diet. So when we mention nutritious and well-balanced, can you imagine? Right? So it's not difficult to understand, very easy. Okay, that's what you must target. Use descriptive vocab. Alright, it's important. It is a good vocab, but it is very common. Am I correct? So try to replace common words with less common words like crucial. Clear? Okay, same goes to the next phrase here. It helps our body stay strong. But this sentence here, it is more descriptive. You are able to imagine. Am I correct? Okay, good. So that is what, you know why? When you use a wide range of vocabulary to deliver your response is going to be more clearer and more effective. That is what we want. When your message is clear, your score is going to be better, higher. Okay, so don't avoid repeating the same sentence over and over again. All right, clear? Okay, now for appropriateness. Some of you, I know you are very ambitious, right? You try to use all those sophisticated and bombastic words, but sometimes you end up using it wrongly. If you use it wrongly, it is definitely going to affect your marks. So before you use certain words, make sure you understand the meaning, correct? Okay, like in the example given here, regular exercise helps stretch muscle. Can you stretch a muscle? What should it be? Strengthen the muscle. So it is the wrong choice of word here. Am I clear? So when it comes to vocab, try to widen your vocabulary range and make sure you use the correct word choice for the topic given. Okay, moving on to communicative competence. What do we look at as assessor? What do we look at when it comes to communicative competence? Okay, we look at how, Okay, I think I'm going to skip this. Okay, we look at how well can you develop and elaborate a topic. Okay, for communicative competence, maybe you can make a note. Okay, jot down. Okay, how well can you elaborate and develop your ideas? So there are three aspects that you need to pay attention when it comes to communicative competence. The first one being interaction. So for part 1 and part 2, you will be interacting with the, part 1 and part 2. The teacher. Okay, and for part 3, you will be interacting with your partner. Okay, so when you interact, make sure you provide proper points. State your points clearly. Elaborate your points. Provide justification. Provide supporting details. And if possible, give example. That would be very good if you can give example. So that is interaction. Next, okay, this criteria, relate and negotiate to partner, it goes back to part 3, discussion. So many of you fail to relate to your partner. So keep in mind, if you fail to relate to your partner, for communicative competence, you will not get a 5 or a 6. Your mark stops at 4. So if you want to get higher marks, 5 and 6, for your communicative competence, you need to relate your idea to your partner's elaboration and contribution. Clear? All right. Next, fluency. This is what we will be looking at when it comes to communicative competence. So, fluency here, what I mean by fluency is try to avoid long, noticeable pauses. Sometimes you stop, right? You pause to think. Am I correct? Think of a word, think of a structure. So, do not just keep silent or keep quiet. What can you do instead of keeping quiet? Smile. Why? Because you're still thinking of the word. Try to use fillers. Maybe you can write it down. Try to use fillers like what? Well, you know, let me see, let me think. These are the fillers that you can use to fill in the pauses so that your conversation sounds more natural. Understand? Well, let me see, let me think, you know. So when it comes to communicative competence, 3 aspects that you need to pay attention: interaction, relate to partner, and fluency. Okay, now to sum up how the assessment is done, what are the 8 criteria that you need to focus on? Number 1, accuracy. Number 2, sentence structure. Use a variety of sentence structure. Number 3, use cohesive devices. Number 4, okay, widen the range of your vocabulary. Number 5, okay, make sure the word choice is correct, appropriate. Okay, next one, 7, 6, is it? Interaction means, what do I mean by interaction? Respond how? Elaborate, provide supporting detail, provide example. All right, next, relate to your partner. Okay, and finally, okay, make sure you try to avoid long, noticeable pauses. Clear? Okay, so now you know how the assessment is done. I would like to now quickly, very quickly review the format, just because I want to highlight a few important reminders. Part 1, what do we call part 1, people? What do we call part 1? interview, right? So for interview, you will be asked 3 to 4 questions. There are 2 phases. Okay? Phase 1, you will be asked 2 questions. And for phase 2, you will be either asked 1 or 2 questions, depending on the response that you give. It's not there. You need to write it down if you wish to. All right? So, what I would like to highlight is, please give the response in a full sentence. Construct a full sentence. And also, for phase 1 and phase 2, provide 3 to 4 sentences for each question. 3 to 4 is more than enough. You don't have to construct like 5 or 6, 7 sentences. You're not going to get higher marks by doing that. All right, 3 to 4, just nice. All right, and if possible, try to use cohesive devices for your part 1 as well. Okay, example here. Everyone needs to answer this question, right? What is your name? So a suggested answer would be, my name is Nur Amina binti Ali. You can call me Amina. In short, where my family and friends used to address. Okay, you look at the structure, combination of a few structures, right? And then, are there any cohesive devices? Where here? Where is a relative pronoun? Relative pronoun is a cohesive device. So we have used cohesive device, a variety of structure. Good vocab. Can you spot a good vocab for me? Address. Used to address. So good vocab, good structure, cohesive device. Understand? All right. I'm not going to go through the phase 2 question. Let's look at part 2. Again, the same thing again. Use a variety of sentence structure. Cohesive device. Use a more expressive, descriptive vocab. Okay, for part 2, it is called long individual turn. How long must you respond to the question? 3? Who's your teacher? I'm going to send my regards. How long? 1 minute. Okay? 1 minute. You need to provide a response for 1 minute. All right. So you will be given a stimulus like this, and there will be 4 prompts. Usually there will be 4 prompts, 4 questions. So my suggestion for you, right? The weak candidates, right? The weak student, you can construct 1 sentence for each prompt. Each prompt you construct 1 sentence. But the good ones, the better ones, maybe you can provide at least 2 sentences for each of the prompts given. All right, because I say you need to expand your ideas, provide details. What if you couldn't reach the 4th point and the teacher stops you? Is that a problem? Let's say you have reached 1 minute, but you did not touch on the 4th point. You did not cover the 4th point, but the teacher stopped you. Will your marks be deducted? No, it will not be deducted. Like I said before, we are looking at your grammar, we are looking at your vocab, and how well can you elaborate your points. So if you fail to cover this, it's fine. Don't feel sad or disturbed. Okay, focus on your part 3. Example here, I would like to show an example for part 2. Okay, what the event was. It is a family celebration. So what you can do, you can take the key phrases from the question. In this case, what the event was. What are the key phrases? The event was. Good. So begin constructing your response with the key phrase given in the question. The event was my parents' wedding anniversary. Okay, the weak one, you can stop there. But the good ones try to give another sentence. And I celebrated the anniversary with my siblings. Okay, what you did there? So how can you, what phrases can you take? Okay, you did, but you need to change the pronoun. You to we or I. All right. So we did many activities. The use of cohesive device. Firstly, we cut cake. Okay, the weak one, maybe you can say after that, we ate our dinner in a restaurant. Enough. But the good one, please try to give more detail. What cake was it? Okay, after that, yeah, read my word. Okay, after that, the use of cohesive device, you had dinner at a restaurant. And then again, cohesive device, you say you and your sister surprised your parents with a special gift. What gift was it? So is this good? Do you feel that this response is good? Why? More elaboration. All right. And then you have used cohesive devices. All right. Clear? Part 2? Okay. Part 3. Actually, this is our focus for today. Part 3. Okay, part 3 is divided into 3 phases, right? The first phase is discussion. You are given 2 minutes to discuss, followed by 1 minute of concluding your discussion. And finally, we have the further discussion question, which can be done within 2 minutes. Okay, further discussion. I'm going to ask you a question. How do you do the further discussion? Do you provide your individual response or you discuss with your partner? Okay, discuss with your partner. Actually, you can do both. You can provide your individual response if you do not wish to have a discussion with your partner. My advice, my suggestion would be provide individual response instead of discussion. Okay, it's better that way. All right, now, when it comes to discussion, right, the first phase, how many points do you choose? 2 for each person or 2 overall? Each person 2. Is it compulsory? Can you finish discussing all 4 points within 2 minutes? No, right? Why? Okay. So, I would like to share that, of course, you don't have to use all the 6 points given. Okay? You are not going to get higher marks, let's say if you can touch 4 points. If you can cover 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, you are not going to get better score. Because for part 3, what matters the most is your elaboration. How well can you defend your points? How can you elaborate? How well you elaborate your points? What are the supporting details that you give? What are the examples that you give to justify your reason? These are all the criteria that we look at when it comes to part 3. So if you are providing enough elaboration, you cannot go beyond 3 points. Usually 2 to 3 only. You can only cover 2 to 3 points. All right? Clear? Okay, how do you usually structure your response when it comes to discussion? To begin with? All right, and then? You give examples. So you don't have a proper structure. Okay, I would like to share one. Okay, so this is what I call as prayer. Okay, prayer structure. Okay, ignore the first R. Ignore the first R. Right? We don't have enough time to talk about relate to partner. So start with P. P, you can write it down on your handout. P stands for point. So, state your point clearly. Choose one point and state it clearly. Followed by R. Give a reason why you chose that particular point. All right, and E stands for example. And let's see if you couldn't find for any example, provide further elaboration for the reason given. A stands for ask or agree. Okay, point, reason, example, further elaboration, ask and agree, prayer. Okay, I'm going to explain using an example here. Okay, this is the question, the discussion question. What are the factors people consider when choosing a holiday destination? That is the discussion question. And I have chosen one point, which is attraction. All right. Let's look at the structure. Okay, this is how you structure your response. We begin with P. Okay, before you state your point, don't forget the opinion markers, such as in my opinion. What else? From my perspective, I believe, I think. What else? To begin with, yes, okay? So begin by using your opinion marker and then use the phrase, key phrase from the question just now. One factor people consider when choosing a holiday destination is the attraction. Mention, you have stated the point clearly. Followed by reason. Why do I believe attraction is a factor people consider? So, to begin your reason, you can use reasoning markers. Like, this is because. What else? I say this because. All right. So, for this response, I have used this is because. Why? What are the reasons? Yeah, you make the trip fun and unforgettable and then use cohesive device. Okay, add more reason. Why attraction is a factor? Because you get to experience new culture, you get to enjoy exciting activities and you can relax. All right, point given, reason given. Now, what must you do? Give example. Yes, correct. So, don't forget to use cohesive device, for example or for instance. All right, places with beautiful natural sights. Why did I highlight natural sights? Yeah? Huh? A better vocab, descriptive vocab. Like Maldives attract people who want to enjoy the beach. While historic cities, a good vocab, like Rome interests travelers who love heritage and architecture. So good vocab. In addition, is a cohesive device. Theme parks and adventure sports appeal to different types of tourists based on their preferences. A good vocab. Therefore, destinations with a good mix of attraction are often more popular. That are your examples. You quote a few cities there. Followed by ask. Do you see my point? Do you agree with me? What do you think? So what is the structure now? What is the name of the structure that you can use to prayer? What is it? P stands for point. R stands for? Yeah. I can't hear anything. All right. So we have done with the theoretical part. I would like to invite teacher Nalini to continue with the session.
Okay, hi everyone. Okay, so it's practice time now. Okay, I don't want too much of movement. So you just turn your chair behind. Okay, you will pair up with your friend behind. Okay, please turn now. It's practice time. Okay, it's a pair work. Okay, are you ready with your pair? Okay, before we start practicing, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Who will feel nervous when you are asked to speak? So the others, this group? Okay, it's okay. If you feel nervous, it means you care. Okay, so that's the first step for you to try to speak. Okay, so your task now is you're going to practice whatever you learned just now. Okay, turn to your page, the last page. Okay, before that, look at the question. This is the question that you are going to answer with your pair. Okay, after you answer that, we are going to snap your answer and we are going to display here and review together. Okay, so the question is, what is the best way for teenagers to manage stress? So you are only going to talk about one point, which is time management. So please use the checklist. Okay, please use the checklist provided just now. You want to have a look? Okay, do you have this checklist? If you don't, please copy first. Copy this checklist. You can just write down PREA, CD, and vocab. Okay, after you have done copying this, you can start discussing with your pair. And I'm giving you, and also the template is given in your notes. Okay, best way to manage stress, time management. Please use that template and fill in into the blanks provided. Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes of group work. After that, we will review your answer. Time starts now. Please use the same point, time management.
Maybe you can share why is it important to manage your time. What happens if you don't manage your time? How will you feel? How will you feel if you cannot manage your time well? Emotional, okay? Stress. Right. Be to your life as a student.
ஒரு 2 நிமிஷம் எல்லாத்துக்கும் சொல்லிட்டேன். Okay, class, can I get your attention? Okay, so we have a change of plan here. Okay, we are not going to review your answer. Instead, you are going to speak. Okay, So speaking is like swimming. Okay, if you never get wet, you're not going to get better. So you are going to find or elect a representative from your group to present your answer. Okay, can we start off with the boys?
Test, 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 test. Yeah. Okay. Baca tu apa? From my perspective, the best way for teenagers to manage stress is time management. This is because time management is how we expend our time on what we should do on our days in life. Furthermore, this can allow us to manage time very well and can make teenagers distressed. For example, teenagers must do a timetable for every day on what activities or thing we must do. In addition, parents must take an action for their sons to manage time and give them advice on how they can manage from stress and why they should manage stress. Do you agree with me?
What's your name? Okay, Faiz, very good. Okay, let's check what he have mentioned just now. Okay, so did he mention the point? What was the point? Time management. The reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
The reason is how we spend our time on what we should do on our days in life.
Okay, so that is his reason, and he gave example. Did you notice any cohesive devices? Yes. Okay, furthermore, in addition. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much. Give a clap. Okay, now I would like to call this group. What's your name?
Marisa. Marisa.
Okay, Marisa, your answer, please.
From my perspective, the best way for teenager to manage the best way for teenager to manage stress is time management. This is because when we manage time correctly, this will prevent us from getting stressed and facing chaotic situations in our life. For example, we should make a schedule to manage our time, such as what to do when we have free time and a routine in our daily life to prevent stress because to avoid from thinking about something negatively in our life. What do you think?
Okay, thank you, Marisa. Okay, her reason is she asks us to manage time correctly so that we won't get stressed and won't have chaotic situation in our life. Okay, did you notice any cohesive devices? Furthermore, okay, so I think Marisa should add one or two more cohesive devices. Okay, well done, everyone. Since we are short of time, okay, so because we have writing session after this. Okay, so one more tips for you to practice speaking or get better in speaking. Okay, you have to follow 3 P's. First, you have to plan. How do you plan? Use all the template provided by your teachers, all the tips provided by your teachers. Okay, especially this for your part 3. Okay, the second one, you have to practice. How do you practice? Speak to your friend, speak to your teacher, speak to the mirror, speak to your family members, speak to your pet. Yes, that's the best. Speak to your cat. Yeah, speak to your rabbit. They will listen. They want you to get better in your English as well. Okay, finally, you have to perform. Okay, when you speak, you have to speak very loudly as well. and confidently. Okay? Can you speak confidently? Yes. So I believe all of you can speak confidently. Please plan, practice, and present. Okay? Don't be scared to present. As I told you, it is like swimming. If you scared to get wet, you're not going to get better. Okay? Okay, so thank you very much. That's all for speaking. Okay? Now it will be followed by Madam Tuan Naima for writing.
Hello. Swap. You know how to do? Oh, which one? That. I have to edit every time. Cannot do simultaneous. Two screens at the same time. Hello? Hello? Mic is not open yet. Do I have to press? Test. Testing. Teacher Jaya and Teacher Nalani, you can leave the class. Hey, hello? Okay. Can hear? Yeah, you can hear. Okay. Can I have your attention? Okay. Please bear with me for 1 hour. Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to everyone. Still morning. Okay, so now moving on to paper 2. All right, speaking, you are very lucky to have both JU here. We never had speaking, Bengkel or whatsoever before. So this is the first time. So we are very lucky to have them. So now moving on to paper 2. Okay, what do you still remember? What do we have in paper 2? Part 1? Email, very good. How many marks? 20 marks, Barat. Don't make that face. Don't get confused, okay? And then we have part 2, guided writing, very good. How many marks we have there? 20 marks. And the last one, part 3, which is extended writing. Okay, under extended writing, what types of essay that we have there? You have review, article, report, and story. Okay, narrative. All right. Can I go to the first? Phil?
Okay, for part 1, do you still remember when I tell you which is the easiest part to score? Which is the easiest part of all 3 parts? Part 1, part 2, part 3. Which one is the easiest part to score? Part 1, which is email. Okay, email is intended for whom? I mean, the level A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. Still remember? It is intended for A2 students. Okay, good. A2 students, which means it is very easy for you to score. All right, because the level is what we call is the easiest part. Easy to score. Why do I say that? Okay, part 1 is intended for lower proficiency. Means even imagine that you are in Form 2 and Form 3, you have to come out with an email. Okay, that is how the level is. Okay, hence the higher proficiency. Good students have no problem to score full marks for this part. Okay, candidates do well in part 1, and even the low proficiency candidates manage to get some marks. Okay, what when your teachers written your papers, okay, it doesn't matter like in a form of exercises or exams, you can see the rubric. See, what else? After C, we have CA, C stands for what? Can you go to the Bengkel, this one? C stands for content. CA, communicative achievement. O, organization. And the last one, language. Okay. C, content. Where do you take the content? From where do you find the content? From the question. Very good. Okay. This one. Envelope. Okay. Normally, how many contents do we have in every question? Okay, I'll give you an example, email. Normally, how many contents do you have to answer? 3, 4, 3 to 4 contents, right? Okay. English writing module. All right. Okay. This is the format. All right. The one that we discussed just now. Okay. Go down. Okay. Please have a look at this. You can refer to your handouts. Okay. For content, did you fulfill all the requirements? Okay. How do you, okay, when you get the exam paper, what do you normally do as you go through the questions? You need to read the question. After you read the questions, you need to highlight. And not only highlight, you have to label. Remember? What do you label? C1 for content 1, which is question 1. C2, C3, C4. If there are 4 questions, then you have to label all the C's. Understand? Okay. Next, we go to communicative achievement. Under communicative achievement, what do we have? We need to pay attention on the format. Register. Register means the word choice, words that you use. Is it the correct word choice or wrong? Okay, and then tone. Remember, when we write an email, what is the format? Is it formal or informal? Formal or informal? Email. Informal. Okay. What about a report? Is it formal or informal? Formal. So you have two different formats that you can see clearly. Email, you write an email to your friends. Okay? Using friendly tone. Tone. Friendly. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing good. When you write a report to principal, do you say, "Hi, sir, how are you"? No. That is the difference between formal and informal. And tone, friendly tone, and what we call that? Serious tone. Okay? So you cannot be very friendly with the principal or even a teacher if the report is meant for the teacher. And then register the word choice used. Still remember, when you write an email, do you use contraction? Still remember do you know what is contraction? Hello? What is contraction? Where to use? This one, right? Contraction, guys. Draw. Is it draw? Okay. Don't say, "Oh, you already know. I would like out. I would like, or I'll." Okay. So this is what we call as contractions. Please remember, many students do mistake on this part. Okay, when they write an email, yes, this is allowed. You have to write this way. It is compulsory to write a contraction, to include contraction in your email. But when it comes to formatted essays with format, you cannot use this. This is not allowed. Please remember, do not write a contraction in your essays other than email to be safe. Okay, otherwise your marks will be deducted. It's either under communicative achievement or language. Please pay attention on that. Many students commit this kind of errors. Okay, that is CA. And then comes organization. Under organization, what do we have? You need to write your essay in your layout. Paragraphing. Paragraph. Okay. For email, how many paragraphs that we need to write? Paragraphs, not line. How many paragraphs for email? 2, 1. Email, 1 paragraph only. One. Okay, only 1 paragraph. What about part 2? Yes, 1. Okay, in Form 4 textbook, it's written there. Okay, only 1 paragraph. What about part 2? How many paragraphs? At least 3. Okay, at least 3. But 3 normally will do because the number of words is 120 to 150 words. Okay, so under paragraphing, the first paragraph, what do you normally for the first paragraph, what do we have? We have introduction. Okay, and then followed by points. Okay, body. Okay, how many points do you have? It's up to you. But for part 2, compared to part 3, more elaborations are needed for part 3. But for part 2, it can be straightforward and around 1 to 2 elaborating elaborations. Do you understand? Okay. And the last one, this is considered as paragraph 2. And the last paragraph is for conclusion, ending. So how many paragraphs altogether? We are talking about part 2. All right. Move to part 3. Part 3. How many paragraphs? Yes. 3 to 5, 3 to 4 to 5. But to be safe, 3 to 5 paragraphs. Okay? So you can break your points, content 1, content 2, content 3. And if you have more content, C4, you can break it into 2 paragraphs, 4 content. And then the last one is the conclusion. All right, done with paragraphing. Organization is not only about paragraphing, but also cohesive devices. Okay. What is the difference between linkers and cohesive devices? Give me example of linkers. And still remember this one? Sorry, fan. How to? This one. Okay. This one. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Please remember this. Easy for you to remember. Fanboys. This is basic linkers. And make sure, normally students have no problem with basic linkers, but they will have problems with cohesive devices. Okay, F stands for nor, but, or, yet. So, okay, remember this. Fanboys, that is the what you call the acronym of it, fanboys. Okay, and cohesive devices, I believe you already learned just now. Okay, and that is under organization. And the last one, language. What we are looking at under language? Under language, number 1, what is the level of vocabulary used? For email, we use basic and everyday vocabulary. Basic and everyday vocab. When it comes to part 2, what kind of vocab that you need to use? Everyday vocab plus, remember, less common lexis. Okay, advanced vocabulary. So that is the level of vocabulary used. For email, basic plus everyday. For part 2, everyday vocab and less common lexis. And part 3 as well. Okay, what are the types of sentences used? What type of sentence that you know? Simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. So you need to use all the 3 sentences, especially when it comes to part 3. Please remember, okay, for part 3, if you use simple sentence, you will only get 1 mark if you are lucky. If not, you will get 0. So don't be surprised if part 3, if you tend to write simple vocab without compound and complex sentences. If you write simple sentences only, so don't be surprised if your mark is only 2 and below. Okay, you need to write, you have these 3 combination: simple, compound, and complex sentences. That is what is meant by type of sentences. And then grammatical errors. Okay. I need to erase this one. But yeah. You can I want to scroll down and then this thing. Okay, guys. This is a summary of analysis, question analysis. So please read on your own so that you can see what for 2021 2022 until 2024, what type of questions or what are the questions that already tested? Okay. Scroll down. Are you all with me? Okay. Okay, everyone, turn to this page. Email. We go to email first. What is an email? Short communicative response. Okay. Sometimes you are asked to give what? Advice or opinions. Okay. Give me example of opinions that you are required to do. Still remember what are the questions tested before? Email, you are required to give opinions on what? Give me example. Sorry? Location. Location for? Any fun? Okay, theme park. Okay, give me example of theme park that we can go to. Okay, what else? Activities that you can do at the theme park. Okay, let's say the question is about advice of buying, shopping, or online, or go to physical store. Okay, you are asked to give advice by your friends. So that's why this kind of questions, normally these three are asked. I mean, in the email, you were asked to give suggestions, advice, or opinions. To whom? It can be your cousin, it can be to your friends. Okay, that's why the format is informal, because you are giving advice and some more to your friends. That's why it is informal, because the word used. Okay, identify. So what are the tips that you need to think before you write down the email? First, content. We are talking about content. C. Where do you get the content? By looking at the W hash questions. That is the clue of from where you get the questions. Give me example of W hash questions. Example of W hash questions. What? Where? When? Whom? Why? W, 5 wives, 1 husband. Husband stands for how. Okay? So when you look at these questions, that is where you can identify content. Next, you have to brainstorm. Do you have to elaborate for 2 to 3 sentences for one question, for one answer, content? Not necessarily. For example, where can you go? Which location do you suggest? Okay, give me example. I would like to suggest to go to Escape. Okay, one sentence. And then your elaboration. This is because okay, a lot of activities or games that we can do at this theme park. So that is your elaboration. Okay. Next, give reason to support your points. All right, you have to give reason. Sequence connectors and cohesive devices. All right, at least how many cohesive devices that you need to write? At least 2, 3 will do. Okay, and using the correct format when you write the email. What is the format of email again? How do you start? Just scroll down. Remember this. This is the short form. Grandma reads 1, 2, 3 comic. Grandma reads 1, 2, 3 comic. Grandma, G.
stands for what? Greeting. Give me example of greeting. Hi, hello, dear. Not yet. Hi, hello, hi, hello, dear. Okay, and then we have respond. Respond to the first okay, you write the respond referring to the first sentence of email that you received. Okay? Okay, later we'll see. And then we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is referring to what? Content 1, 2, and 3. And comic C is for closure. Give me an example of closure. That's all for now. That's all from me. Okay? I hope you write. Okay, I hope you enjoy reading my suggestion. Okay, bye. Don't forget bye. Okay? All right. So here, as you can see. Okay. Down. Okay. Remember? Grandma reads. Before comic, grandma read. 1, 2, 3, comics. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Help me to identify content here. Content 1, content 2, content 3. If you have more than 3 contents, write down. Can you please underline and then label or highlight the contents? Faster, faster. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Faster. Done? How many content? Okay. Where is C1? Someone please read. Is there? Is there any hotel that you would like to recommend? Okay. C1. C2? The activities we can do there. C3? Okay. What are the things that I need to take along? Okay. There are 3 C here. So how do you start? G. What is G? How do you start with G? Hi. Okay, respond to the first. Okay, that is for, okay, hi. Hi to whom? Okay, all right. R. R is referring to the first sentence of the email. So what is written here? Dad has finally agreed to take my family for an island visit. How do you respond to that? It's great to hear from you. Okay, that's great. Or if you want to make it short, that's great. Okay, it's great to hear that you can finally go for an island visit. Okay, and next, grandma, done. Response. Read. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so how do you respond to the first content? Remember to use cohesive devices. So what do you, okay, what is the first cohesive devices? First of all, to begin with, from my perspective, hotel that that I would like to recommend to you is, okay, it can be any hotel. Okay. 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 What is the elaboration why you choose Sunway Lagoon Hotel? This is because the hotel is 5-star, because the hotel is 5-star and expensive. Okay. Next, cohesive devices. In addition, C2. The activities we can do at the place are, okay, give me activities. We are talking about island visit. Island. Sunway Lagoon, is it an island? No. Okay, but okay lah, Sunway Hotel maybe instead of Sunway Lagoon. Okay, what kind of activities that you can do at the island? Playing volleyball. Boys, activities that you can do. Fishing. Okay. All right, why you choose that activities? Reason? Reasons for playing volleyball? To de-stress. It can be a way to, okay, enhance relationship with your family. Okay. Finally, things that you need to take along. Okay, sunscreen. What else? Balls. Okay, volleyball, sunglasses, and stuff. And maybe food. Some food. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see how you can respond. Okay, it's written here. G, dear Mawar. Okay, what is your response here? Answer, and then response that has finally, and then what is your answer? C1, C2, and C3. And finally, conclusion. Okay. Okay, let's see. If this is how you write, definitely 20 marks will be in your hand. Okay? 20 marks. You can get it easily if you follow it this way. So there are a variety of cohesive devices. There are 3 cohesive devices. And then you have also, you also write a response. And with a good ending, conclusion, 20 marks. Are you all with me? Sit properly. Okay, this is a good, this is an excellent response where you can get 20 marks. And this is an average response. If you write it this way, sorry, scroll down. Okay, this is, if you, this is a sample of answers. If you write it in a simple, using simple sentence, no elaboration, without elaboration. Okay, how many words? This one still 80 words. Okay, but then without elaboration. Without elaboration. But content is here. Look at the marks. Content, definitely you will get 5. When it comes to CA, communicative achievement, as long as the tone is friendly, okay, you have contraction, all right, informal way of writing, and then there is no problem when reading your essay, no problem, smooth. You can get 4 to 5 actually. You can even get 5 for CA. But for organizations, is there any cohesive devices here? Any cohesive devices? Look at here. Where? Any cohesive devices? No? Okay. But any basic linkers? Linkers? Any linkers? Where? Where is it? Where is linkers? N. Only N. Okay? Like example, giving example. Okay? So that's why marks given here is only around 3. If only you write in my opinion, okay? Or even if you give one cohesive devices, first of all, in my opinion, first of all, I think, okay? You can even get 4 for that, 4 to 5 marks. Okay, that is why cohesive devices is very important to be included in email. Okay, and language, not much errors. Okay, so language, and then, okay, what kind of vocabulary used here? Is there any less common lexis? Guys, any less common lexis? What kind of vocabulary used here? Is it basic vocab or everyday vocab? Everyday and basic vocabulary. No less common lexis. But this is what required. What is required for email? So it's okay. So that's why if there is not much error, you can get 4 marks. 3 to 4 marks lah. Understand? Okay. So the rest, there are practices. There are how many practice in this worksheet? How many practice? Okay. You can do it with your teachers. Okay, do with your teachers. Next, we move to part 2. Any problem with part 1? Any problem with part 1? No. Okay, part 2. Moving on to part 2. Please do with your teachers, yeah, the exercises. All right. Guys, listen, part 2. Just now, email is for A2 level. Now, moving to part 2, the level is B1 and B2. So that's why here, the level of vocabulary, if you have less common lexis, around 3 to 4 less common lexis, you can, and then for sentence structure, you have complex structures, okay, some complex structures, compound and simple, you can get 5 marks for language, okay? So what do you need to pay? What are the tips that you need to pay attention for part 2? Number 1, yes, you have to highlight which question is it, which question, be it part 1, part 2, and part 3, you have to highlight the questions, the keywords. And then you have to include all the notes provided in the question. Okay, listen, what happened with good students, excellent students, when they attempt part 2 and part 3? Sometimes they don't use the they don't use the words from the question, content point. They didn't take it from there. They come up with their own words, vocabulary. So there were many cases where these kind of good, excellent students, they did not really answer the question. Okay, so my advice is, please take, when you write, please take it from the question, from the prompt, not using your own words. But when you elaborate, then only you use your own words. Do you understand? Take from the prompt, take from the questions. Okay, so for introduction, okay, how many paragraphs for part 2? Part 2, 3 paragraphs. Okay, 3 paragraphs. For part 2, first you have to write the content point. Take from the question and then elaborate. After elaboration, you need to give examples. Then only you will get the how many words, what number of words you need to write? 120 to 150 words. 150 words come from the elaborations and examples. Otherwise, if you only write content point, you won't get much marks for that. You have to have elaborate and give examples. Okay, so this is the question. What is it about? Online shopping and physical store shopping. So what do you have to write about online and physical store? Can you see that I highlight the words, I make it bold? So the keyword here is online shopping and physical store shopping. So the first question is about the difference between shopping online and shopping in physical stores. Okay, take the whole sentence from the prompt for content 1. Okay, if you want to attempt, take the whole sentence, content point. Then only you give your elaboration and examples. Understand? Okay, so another thing that you need to pay attention is, Barat, advantages and disadvantages. How many advantages, how many disadvantages that you need to include? How many? At least 2. 2 will do, but don't write only 1, because the requirement here, you have to write more than 1 advantages and disadvantages. Okay, and then how to encourage teenagers. How many points? If you give 1, but make sure you give elaboration and examples. Okay, how many difference? How many difference? The difference. How many difference? The difference. Look at the noun here. Is it singular or plural? Okay, at least you can give 1 difference between shopping online and shopping in physical store. Okay, let's see the answer. So far, do you understand? Take from the prompt, okay? Take the question, the whole sentence, right? Then only you elaborate and give examples. Okay, so here, at least 1. At least 1 difference, write more than 1 advantages, and write 1 way to encourage, okay? This is a very simple response. Listen. This is a sample response where these students, the category of these students of this response is average. Okay? Average answers. Okay? Average script. Okay? So, the answer, even when you look at the response, it is very straightforward. Firstly, next, lastly. Okay. Firstly, shopping online and shopping in physical store are two very different habits. Okay. Online shopping, you can do it at any time, anywhere. Shopping physical store, give customers the chance to see and try items. So for the first paragraph, the candidate answered the first question, the first content point. This is the first content point. Very straightforward. Basic and everyday vocab. Any less common lexis here for the first paragraph? Can you find any less common lexis? Any less common lexis here? No. Okay. Look at second paragraph. Next. The pros and cons. Instead of using advantage and disadvantage. Very good. Okay. So it is stated here how many advantage and disadvantage. Can you find it? How many advantages and advantage and disadvantage? How many? The first one, online shopping, convenient, often, offers better prices. But, okay, sometimes this is the disadvantages. The products do not look the same. Okay, but here there is no cohesive devices to link for the second point. Okay, shopping in stores, you can see how many content. Test the quality, but it can be time consuming and tiring, especially when the shops are crowded. And then conclusion. 3 paragraphs. Okay, let's see how many marks this candidate can get, these students can get. Bawah. Turun bawah, Dik. Okay, how many marks do you think? Content, definitely, this candidate can get 5 because this candidate fulfill the requirement of the task. But for CA, this is too simple. Okay, too simple, but it is straightforward. Organization, why do you think it's 2 here? First, next, lastly. Firstly, next, lastly. Is it cohesive devices? What is it? What is it? It's more like a step, process and procedure, or conjunction. Okay? You can actually use in addition, finally, to sum up. Okay? So but paragraphing is here. So plus minus, actually for organization, you can get 2 to 3 marks. And even for language, there is no less common lexis, more to everyday, and basic vocabulary. Guys, can you see it? Please wake your friends up, please. Okay? Okay. Scroll down. This is a sample of good candidates. Guys, look at the next response. Is there any difference with the first one? Yes. In what way? A lot. What type of difference? The first or the second one is better? The second one is better. Can you see cohesive devices being used here? 1, 2, or variety of cohesive devices? Variety of cohesive devices. You can even see contrast of cohesive. When you want to see contrast of ideas, you use different cohesive devices. For example, however, okay? While, all right, and then undoubtedly, consequently, hence. Hence, instead of writing to sum up, okay, in brief, this candidate write hence. Can you see a good example of marks? What do you think the marks here is given? 20 marks. Definitely. Scroll down. Okay lah, around that. Okay, actually this candidate can get 20 marks, full marks. Okay, try to write like that. Okay, moving on. Okay, any problem with part 2? Part 2. Can we use contraction in part 2? Can we use can, I'll? Can or you cannot use? You should not use. Do not use. For part 2 and part 3, don't use contraction. Okay, only for email. Next. All right. This is exercise. This is an exercise for part 2. You can do it with your teachers. Okay. Moving on to part 3. Can we move to part 3, everyone? Look at part 3. What is the first? The first question is about what? Part 3. We are moving to part 3 now. Articles. Okay. Yes. 1 hour. No, we are going to end it at 12:40, around that. I have a very short. Okay, articles, but we will continue this until 2. Look at the question, everyone. What is the question? It's about. What's the question is about? How to prevent cyberbullying. Okay. Cyberbullying among teenagers. All right. What is the format of articles? Okay, wait. Content, where do you take content from? From here. It is very straightforward. Guys, for part 3, the content or the question is very straightforward. You can see the numbering. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to find it. All you need to do is to highlight. Okay? So number 1, about cyberbullying, how cyberbullying affect teenagers, and ways. Okay, ways. How many ways? How many ways? More than one. Again, I have to stress this. Listen, because why? In order to fulfill the task, you have to follow what the questions require you to do. If ways, it means more than one way. Okay? So you really need to pay attention on that. Don't miss out any of it. Follow exactly what the question require you to do, so that you can get content 5 marks, full marks. Okay, next, format. Should it be formal or informal? Articles. Should it be formal or informal? It should be formal. Okay? That's why abbreviation or contraction is not allowed here. Okay. What else? CA, organization. How many paragraphs?
5.
4 to 5. 3 to 5. Okay. How many number of words that you have to write? 250. 2. Look again on the first page. How many words you have to write? 200 to 250 words. That's why 250 words is equal to 4 to 5 paragraphs. You cannot squeeze everything in 1 paragraph or even 2. Not even 3. It will be more than that. Okay? Wait. All right. And the last one. Language. Language. What kind of language that we have to write, that we have to include in this essay, articles? Number 1, okay, appropriate language words, appropriate words. Not only that, look at your sentence structure. What kind of sentence that you have to write in part 3? Simple, compound. That one is vocabulary, sentence structure. Simple, compound, and complex structures. And then for vocabulary, not only basic, not only everyday vocab, but you need to include less common lexis. Then only you can score good marks, high marks. Okay, all right. Can you please scroll down? This is an average response. Okay. B1, B2 level. This is not even a C2 level. I'm talking about the average one. Okay, try to see how the candidates start the essay. Nowadays. What does it mean by nowadays? In these days, pada hari ini. Okay, so you have to have this is an introduction about cyberbullying among teenagers. Okay, so the writer write about internet, and then with its benefits. Not only it has benefits, but also it also lead to, okay, what are the things that can go wrong with the internet if you don't use it in the right properly? Okay, then to begin with, the first, cohesive devices. Okay, the first point, you can see, okay, what are these words? Less, common, Lexis. What are the words? Insult, rumors, hateful messages, embarrassing, to distress. Okay? Normally, students will use to release stress. But instead, you can use the word distress. Okay. The next, cohesive devices. You can see the result of it. When cyberbullying seriously affects teenagers, there are results of it. For example, the students can get anxious, lonely, sad, something like that, in extreme situations. And then therefore, one effective way besides that. And then in addition, and the last one, in conclusion. The conclusion, the concluding part. Can you see how the candidate lay out the answer? Okay. So how many marks do you think the candidate can get? Oh, no marks here, which is good. What do you think? Okay. Is there any compound and complex structures in the essay? Any compound? Simple is definitely there. Compound, complex, compound and complex. Okay. So with this kind of answer, these candidates can get up to 15 to 20 marks. 15 to 20 marks. Okay. All right. Please look at the sample essays so that you can get ideas of how to write content points, followed by supporting details with examples. That is where you get complex structure and compound. Okay? So this is how you can break the content. This is the elaboration followed by examples. Content 1, content 2, and content 3. Okay? These are the cohesive devices used and less common lexis used. Okay, moving on. Any problem with article? What is the format of article? How do you start your article? In the middle? You have to write a title first, right? And then written by, and then only your response, your essay. Okay. See? This is compulsory. This comes under CA format. Faiz, listen. If you don't have this or any one of this, yeah, you won't get full marks for CA. Okay, so please pay attention. All right. This is for A2 level. A2 level means, can you please go back? Which one is better? The first or the second one? The first or the second one? Which one is longer? The first or second? Do you think that this one have enough elaboration and examples? Straightforward. This candidate answer follow the content point. Yes, content point is given, but elaboration and this candidate is lacking of elaboration and examples. That's why you see shorter number of words compared to the first one. Okay, so you can see, all right, cyberbullying can give many problems. First, they may feel unhappy and alone. They may not want to go to school or see their friends. Okay, sometimes they feel so sad that they do not know what to do. This is more on simple sentence, simple ideas. So we must stop cyberbullying before it hurts more people. There are some ways to stop cyberbullying. First, teenagers must think before they write or post something online. One idea. Okay? Instead, you can actually use linkers, fanboys, to link the first and the second point so that it become compound. How to make it complex? You can give example followed by examples. Then it will become more complex. It will become complex sentence. Do you get that? When you see so many short sentences, short means simple ideas. It will affect under CA. Yes, not only CA, sorry, it will affect language mark. Because under language, there must be a variety of sentence structures. If simple sentence like this, you can only get around 2 or the most is 3. Okay? So I hope you can differentiate between the first and the second response. Then only you can see where are you. Now, if this is how I always write a response or write my essay like this, so you can expect what marks you can get. Okay, moving on. Done with article. Any problem? Any question with article? Okay. Report. Report is the most, I would say, hard to score 20. Hard to score 20, especially for CA, communicative achievement. Okay, because you need to use a very straightforward language. Okay, no flowery language. No, it should be direct and it shouldn't be in a form of a story. Sometimes report, you have to write, you have to tell the person what do you want to report? A report, right? For example, you have to write a report to your teacher about sports day last week. So the mistakes that students always do is they write it in a form of story. Last week, or they will start with one day. When you start it that way, it is automatically will be out of the context. Are we still? Okay. Lebih masa? Boleh lagi? So lagi 3 minutes kan? Dia dah set. Dah set maksudnya? Dah set. Okay. Alright. So that's why report is very a serious matter. Straightforward. Okay. Let's see. I'll go with the, okay. Tips, guys. Listen. What you need to focus on if you are required to write if you want to write a report. First, you have to know what is the task. What do you need to write about? Okay, for here, you have to write about an inter-class sports competition. What is the purpose? You have to have a purpose to write the report. It is to report about an inter-class competition that is to promote unity and school spirit. Who do you write it to? To whom? Is it teacher? Normally to teacher or principal? If the context is school. Okay, and then prompts. Prompts is the content. C1, C2, C3, and C4. Okay, scroll down. Sorry guys, I need to be very quick. Okay, we are very short of time. Okay. This is how you start it. To, from, and subject. What is subject? Subject is referring to what? Title. Okay. Like email, we also have subject. Remember? Okay, sometimes you have to write subject. What is the subject? Subject is the title. What is the email is about? Okay, and then this is the layout. Okay, can you please scroll down? Look at the, guys, this is a very good response to lay out your report. You have to start with introduction. This is the title, okay? This is the, we have a subheading. We call it subheading. Okay? First, you have to have the format of a report. Faiz, listen. You have to have the format of a report followed by subheading. The subheading is the heading, the title of every, the small component of your report. Start with introduction. Okay? And then followed by this is referring to the prompts, content, C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay? Details of the competition, student response, how sports promote unity, and conclusion. Okay? If you write it this way, definitely you can score 4 to 5 for CA. I'm talking about CA. Okay? Which is the format, the layout of a report. Okay. See? Only for the language. But if you have a good vocab language, sentence structure, all the 3 sentence structures, variety of structures, plus less common lexis, this is what you get. Okay? I think you can read it on your own later. All right. So the last one, story is not there. Story is not in the worksheets, in the handouts. I will give you later. The last one is review. Review is the favorite, the most favorite among students. And report is the least one. I know, because of the layout, because of the format, sorry. Okay, review. Talking about review. First of all, if you choose review, make sure your review is interesting, captivating. Why? Review, at the end of the review, you have to give a rate. Am I right? How do you rate? Would you like to recommend the place, the music, the song? What else? Recommend the movie or books to someone else, to your friends. So in order for you to recommend something to your friends, make sure you know how to attract your friends by reading your review. Okay, make sure if you talk about a hotel review, do you want to write something bad about the hotel? 1-star hotel, and the hotel is very stinky, not hygienic. Do you want to write something like that? No, right? That you want to write something that is captivating, interesting, in order to attract people or friends to buy, not to buy lah, maybe to subscribe something or listen to that kind of music or watch the movie or read the books. Okay? So again, review, you have to take the content point exactly from the question. If you want to use your own words, after that, when you elaborate the point or when you give example, use your own words. Use less common lexis. Use the right word choice. But for the question, please take it from the prompt so that you won't be misleading. Please be serious about this, because I came across this kind of sample scripts from excellent students where they love to change the word here they use their own words. But unfortunately, it doesn't fulfill the task because it tends to mislead them. Okay, when they use their own words. So take it from here, from the prompt. Okay? All right. So what is the review is about? What do you need to write? Vacation? Sport. What is vacation? Percutian. What is spot? Tempat percutian. So choose any place that might interest people to go to that place. It can be any place, but maybe sometimes some question they have narrowed you to a specific place. For example, theme park. Don't write something out of context. If it is a theme park, don't write about an island. Do you understand? So again, look at the question. What you are required to write. Okay, describe what you enjoyed the most. You enjoyed the most. So you should take it from here. What I enjoyed the most about the place is, give it. Whatever things that makes you enjoy the place the most. Would you recommend? Okay? So this is an example again of a response sample script from a candidate. So from here, can you see enough elaboration and examples given? As you read, does it interest you to go to this place? Okay, before we end, try to read and give me what do you think about the marks that you can give to this candidate? Does it interest you enough to go to this place? Okay. Look at the sentence structures. Is it varied? Any complex structure? Very basic. Good. What about the vocabulary use? Basic, everyday, less common lexis. Everyday, basic, everyday. Any less common lexis here? Are you sure? Okay. Can we say there are variety of cohesive devices used? Variety? Also, besides. After that, conjunction. Moreover, in conclusion. Okay lah. What about paragraphing? Paragraphing, how many paragraphs here? 5. Only that it is short paragraphs. Okay, so can we give like average marks? 3, 2 to 3. But look again, the sentence structure. There are many things to do. For example, okay, or take a boat ride on the river. So this is a compound structure. I saw many shops that sell food. Besides, so more to simple structure. Okay, Anis, look at the second response. Sample answer 2. Okay, which one is better? Slightly better. More better and nicer. Longer. More elaboration. More examples. More cohesive devices. Language, but it is not as good. Not much of less common lexis. Do you agree with me? But we can see here, rich culture. Can you write rich culture? Is it an everyday vocab? No, right? Not everyone can write rich culture. What else? Traditional crafts. Tasty snacks. Souvenirs is everyday vocab. Okay? Exhibits. All right? Stepping back in time is a good sentence. It's a good vocabulary. Normal vocabulary? No. I would consider this as a good vocab. Okay? Where? Atmosphere. Atmosphere, unique atmosphere. Okay, normally student will write nice place, beautiful place, but here talking about atmosphere. Okay, all right, so nothing much here. So this is an average, huh? Not a good one, not an excellent example of response. So this is an average one. All right, but again, don't forget title, because this is a review, and then by whom, written by you, your name. All right, so 12:58. All right, so far, any question about review? Are you sure? Any question about review? So please remember, as you write, please consider C, CA, organization, and language. What type of vocabulary that I have to write to include in my essay? What kind of sentence structures that I need to write? You have to bear in your mind as you write your essay. Okay, and paragraphing and cohesive devices as well, other than grammar part. Okay, so any question? Are you sure? No? Okay, I just want to tell you this. Many students ask me, part 1 teacher, for email, does the examiner count the number of words? Because they always worry about the number of words written. It is not. We are not, English is not like Bahasa Melayu. For Bahasa Melayu, rumusan, you have to follow strictly the number of words given. Am I right? But for for English, we don't do that. As long as you include content, okay, as long as you have elaboration and example, if it is less than 80 words, it's okay. Okay? And don't be surprised if you write shorter, but not that short, maybe around 70, less than words, you can get 20 marks. It is not possible. Okay? Same goes to part 2, same goes to part 3. But the longer, the better you write, higher marks you will get. All right? So I guess that's all from me. Are you sure there is no question from you? Noah, you understand? Do you get something? Do you get something? At least you get something from speaking and writing. Okay? So I guess that's all from me. Thank you so much. Okay? Continue. Continue the task given in the handouts. You are going to be dismissed at 2. So you have 1 more hour here. Camera off, but you'll still be here. You will be still here. Okay? Camera is off. You need to continue. Sit here until 2. Oh, you want to go to the toilet? Toilet break. Hello. Tutup.